So, welcome to SkySchool's Top Tips. This episode is all about cross-country paramotor flying and, more importantly, how you prepare for that. So, cross-country planning starts days, if not weeks in advance, because what you're looking for, especially in the UK climate, is that stable high pressure normally, which is going to bring nice calm conditions which are normally ideal for early morning and late afternoon flying, sometimes all day depending on the time of the year or the type of cloud formation you've got. So I'm going to be using the synoptic chart to read that, so it's important you understand how they work and how to read them, and then you can also understand the wind direction which they're going to be bringing in up at higher level normally. And then as I get closer to my cross-country day, I'm going to start looking at other forecasts, things like Wind Finder, Wind Guru. There are all sorts of things on the internet which you can use nowadays, but that's going to give you an idea of the wind speed and the gusts and the cloud cover and sunrise, sunset, and all the things which you need to know about what the weather's doing. However, as we all know, you should never base any decision on a weather forecast. You need to base it on how the conditions are on the actual day. So just because it says it's going to be perfect flying conditions, if it doesn't look like it is, based on your judgment of the flying weather, don't fly. So the other vitally important consideration we need to take into account is legality. Is where we plan to fly legal? And the only way we can check that is using an up-to-date air map. The other vital tool, which I really like and use regularly, is the Sky Demon app on my iPhone, because that allows me to set my takeoff, my waypoints, my landing, and I can now follow that route. I can avoid airspace, and I can also see what the weather's doing. However, these run out of battery, so it's very important I've got a battery pack so I can keep my phone charged, and also I've got my map as a backup just in case. And if you really want to get old school, you get your old compass out as well. The other reason you're taking your phone with you is obviously if you have an emergency, you're going to need to be able to call someone so they can come pick you up. So you may just wish to have that stowed in a pocket and use other items such as an out-of-the GPS unit. So let's say I plan to do a cross-country flight the next day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plot my route on my GPS device the night before. I'm going to be checking the weather. I'm also going to be refueling my paramotor. I'm going to be making sure everything's charged, my radio, my phone, my battery pack, my GoPro if I take one, preferably not on your helmet because that's going to catch lines potentially, and anything else mechanical or electrical. Okay, so make sure all your batteries are charged the night before. On the actual day of my cross-country flight, I want to get there early. I don't want to be rushing. Legally, we can take off half an hour before sunrise at ground level, and we can land half an hour after sunset at ground level. So if you want to maximize your flying day, bearing in mind normally conditions are best at the beginning, at the end of the day, get up early, be there early. Don't rush. So prior preparation is really important here. So I'm going to get there in good time, everything's fueled, I've done a full kit check on my paramotor, my wing, I've made sure my radios are working. If I'm flying with other people, maybe I've got a strobe. Yeah. The other thing, I want to make sure that everything's leashed down. So my phone, a good thing to have is a bit of Velcro. If you have a flight deck, you can Velcro that on. One thing I strongly advise against is a scarf. So instead of having a scarf to keep your neck warm, just have one of these buffs. Okay, and that's now not going to go back into the prop and throttle you, but it is going to keep you nice and warm and over your mouth if necessary. I'm wearing sunglasses at the moment. However, when it's cold, you might want to have something which keeps your eyes a bit warmer. So goggles are a good idea. And the other reason one would wear goggles is actually the side of these sunglasses go underneath your headset, and they just create a little bit of an opening, enough to really get that engine noise in there, and it's a lot louder than you think. So if you want to just test that, take your sunglasses off in flight and see how much quieter it is without these on, and you may well want to switch to goggles. Also, you look cooler. So what else have I got? I've also got a pair of gloves. They're lightweight. It's not actually that cold up there at the moment, so a nice little lightweight pair of gloves is good. In the winter, you might even want to think about having some heated gloves, maybe some heated inner soles for your shoes. So I've got a pair of lightweight trousers, a nice kind of puffer jacket, which is going to keep you nice and warm. Don't want to be sweating too much on the ground, so you want to think about, you know, the kind of time of the year you're going flying and what type of clothing, but you definitely want to wrap up warm. The last thing you want is you're getting cold half an hour into your 2.5 hour cross country. Other things I'm taking, I've got my toolkit, which is going to go in a side pocket. In that toolkit, I've got a screwdriver, so if necessary I can adjust the carb. I've got a spark plug, okay, spanner, so I can take off and put in a new one if necessary. Might even be a good idea to take a spare one of those. And then I've got a variety of Allen keys and spanners. Other things I'm going to be taking is some snacks. Okay, so I've got some little bit of sugar, because if I land out, if I have an engine failure, I'm going to be able to survive a little bit as I yomp out. And I've got just under 1 litre of water. Okay, in a hot climate you're going to want a lot more than that. That is in fact for me to put oil in. So if let's say I plan to do a cross country flight and land and refuel at a petrol station, I can fill that up with 250 mils of oil, means I don't have to buy a whole litre, and I can mix that in accordingly. I can go and do another even longer leg. When you're about to go on your cross country, and let's say you're on your own, it's always better to fly with others, okay, but let's say you're on your own, put that scenario out there, make sure someone knows where you are. The great thing about modern technology is with apps like WhatsApp, we can actually share a live location now. So what we do is we share the live location of everyone going on cross-country flights with the entire group, and now they can see where everyone is. So if you have an engine failure and you land out, at least we can see where you're going down and we can come and rescue you. During a cross-country flight, very important that we're safe at all times. First of all, height equals time equals safety. So the higher you fly, the more time you have to deal with an engine failure or a wing malfunction. Okay, so fly high, give yourself time, increase your safety. If you're flying with other people, adhere to air law. On the right, in the right, head to head, both brake right. Lower pilot, right of way. But don't put yourself in that position. Stagger your heights and stagger the distances you are apart from each other, and maintain visual contact with the others. If you're flying straight and not moving, you're a dangerous pilot. That head should be going everywhere, not only looking for other pilots around you, but also your emergency landing areas, should you have an engine failure, as well as any risks like wires, like trees, maybe even other aircraft straying across your path, and being able to judge where that wind's coming from as well, looking for any telltale signs. Maybe there are ripples on the water beneath you. Maybe you can see little wind indicators. Maybe you can see which way the birds are taking off. Maybe you can remember the direction as to when you took off. It may have changed, so you should never judge everything purely by that. However, all of these things should be going through your mind. You shouldn't just be flying straight thinking, wow, this is great. It is great, but the more height you give, the more aware you are of others around you, the more aware you are of the conditions, how they're changing, okay, what the wind is doing, what the emergency options are, the safer your cross-country flying is going to be. My final thing is prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. But I also like keep it simple, stupid. So don't overcomplicate it. And if in doubt, either land or don't fly. Anyway, wishing you safe and enjoyable cross-country paramotor flights.